sci-fi movie, but it's actually real and somewhat concerning. And we've gotten these reports from these scientists, reports from scientists at NASA, believe it or not, talking about this huge blackout that could be occurring. Solar storm to hit Earth, causing radio blackouts. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but we've actually received warnings saying that it was going to happen around 2025. But it now looks like we may very well see something that has been labeled as 100 times more powerful than a nuclear bomb explosion, according to NASA. Now, I definitely want to share some more information with you guys on this one. This camera is so like twisted anyway. Let me know if you guys are able to hear me on the live here. Just drop a quick comment. What's going on, Catalia? Catalia is the first comment in the room. That is what's up. So yeah, if it's not the Israel-Hamas war, if it's not the earthquakes, the tsunamis, the cyber attacks, the evacuations of multiple government office buildings with emailed threats to our politicians, it's solar flares. I mean, if it's not one thing, it's another, right? And we talked about how expensive insurance is nowadays, right? Because there's so many things that could go wrong. And the only way to protect ourselves is to try to insure against it. What's going on, Kelly McKean? We got Darren Myers, Leoa Wyant, Marcia Phillips, Corey Fugans. What is going on, everyone? I see you guys. If you're able to see and hear me okay, just drop a quick comment for me. And if you could, just take a second and hit the like button. I really appreciate that. Just kind of spreads the message out to more people on YouTube. But guys, and speaking of insurance, right? State Farm homeowners. I don't know how many of you guys have State Farm, but State Farm homeowners insurance rates are set to skyrocket. So I'm going to let you guys know what's going on with that. But I'll be honest with you guys. Insurance across the board is going to be going higher. So I don't know if you happen to be a renter. Renter's insurance is expected to go higher. Renter's insurance used to be cheap. It was a cheap way to protect yourself. But everyone's going to be getting a piece of this. And if you're a homeowner, you're going to be getting a bigger piece. Unfortunately, State Farm homeowners insurance rates are set to skyrocket. And that's not a good sign, especially in the face of higher property taxes, higher this, higher that, it's wild. So anyway, going back just a little bit, and if you guys are enjoying the video, definitely to the channel for more news and updates like this one. So anyway, these scientists, they're sounding the alarm bell, basically saying that the sun could throw a little bit of a tantrum, and this could ultimately mess with our beloved internet for weeks or even months. Can you imagine being without internet for a week? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I could survive internet being down for a whole day. You definitely wouldn't be getting any more YouTube uploads from me if that were the case. You probably have to watch the reruns. But anyway, yeah. So if the internet went down, first of all the plastic in your wallet, all your credit cards will be useless, because basically the way it works is when you swipe your credit card, the vendor, I don't know if you happen to be at Walmart, Target, Kroger, Costco. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you guys heard about what's going on with Costco. They just announced something big recently, but I don't want to get too sidetracked. So just imagine any store you go to, most people are not using cash anymore. I'm pretty sure you guys have noticed the trend. There's very few people who actually pay with cash anymore. And so with so many people heavily reliant and nearly entirely dependent on paying for, anything, whether it's goods or services with a credit card, if the internet were to go down, nobody's buying anything. That means when you roll up to the gas station on E and you need gas desperately in the middle of nowhere, and you go to swipe that card and it doesn't go through because the internet's down, that would be a little bit of a problem, right? So anyway, there's so much that is heavily reliant on the internet. So anyway, now this isn't some kind of doomsday prophecy, but rather they're sharing this information more along the lines of kind of like a heads up based on some pretty intelligent folks that are studying the sun's mood swings, known as their solar cycles. And so you got to be prepared for these kind of things. And it's like there's so many different things that we need to be prepared for. It's getting to be unbelievable. Um, and speaking of preparation, if you don't have your home taken care of, make sure you do. There's a link in the description down below this video for a free home warranty quote. It literally takes about 10 seconds. Protect your home, protect your family against some very unexpected expenses that could be coming your way. We did, and I'm glad that we did. But anyway, but seriously, guys, there's a lot going on here. I mean, we're currently heading towards what's called a solar maximum, meaning that the sun is about to get even more spotty and potentially more disruptive. Now, I can only imagine what all else could possibly be coming down the pipeline in terms of, you know, will the sun be putting off more radiation? Is there maybe a higher chance of getting skin cancer or something like that? Something fishy? I don't know. I'm just speculating on that. But here's where it gets a little bit more real. So Dr. Devendra Nandi and his team have crunched the numbers and believe that this next solar barbecue is due sooner than we thought. And originally they were anticipating that it'd be somewhere around 2025, but now they're talking about somewhere in early 2024. Now, you guys let me know if you've heard anything about this, because I'm not a scientist. And I'm definitely not an astronomer or any field of science that specializes in knowing about these solar flares and whatnot. But I know that we've been getting a lot more warnings, cyber attacks, cyber warnings, FBI warnings about, things that could take our infrastructure down. And while this wouldn't necessarily be the type of attack that the FBI was warning us about, it is still inevitably an attack on our infrastructure. Even if the attack isn't coming from Hamas or Iran or China or anything like that, if your infrastructure went down, regardless of what you label it as, it would be a severe catastrophe for millions and millions of people, not just in America. Because if you think about it, if this solar flare were to take place, it would be more than nationwide. I mean, it would really theoretically would be affecting the world. So it'd be more like worldwide. So now they're not saying like we're going to get cooked up or anything like that. Like it's going to be like 1,000 degrees on Earth, thankfully, or at least I'm not reading that that's expected. But they are talking about how this could take down the internet and GPS systems for an extended period of time. So these particular scientists are kind of like the they're like meteorologists of outer space predicting solar weather. But unlike, deciding whether to carry an umbrella, they're talking about the internet potentially going on a break. But I think and here's the other thing, guys. I know I was talking about like, you won't be able to buy stuff with your credit cards and do, all sorts of different banking and transactions. But think about the other things. Think about our military, our federal government, state governments, local governments. They're all dependent on the internet. This is a matter of national security, theoretically, if we were to face an event like this, right? So back in 1859, this massive solar storm rocked our world, causing telegraph systems to go haywire. Now, just imagine that in today's world, right? Obviously, nobody's using a telegraph anymore. But imagine the telegraph system going down in 1859 being the equivalent of the cellular networks going down in 2024. That would basically be the equivalent, or if not the cellular networks, like the internet network going down, right? So that would be like an internet apocalypse. And it's kind of like the universe's way of saying, you think the fiber optic network, or you think the fiber optic internet's cool? Hold my beer. Like I don't know, maybe not. But here's the kicker. While we're getting a little bit of we're getting a flurry of these predictions that are taking place, there's still a lot of people who are apprehensive about how bad it would actually be. Like, maybe this thing never happens, but this is a legitimate warning. that we're getting from scientists that we all respect. I mean, look at this. Like, I have no reason to make this up. And the other thing is let me show you guys. So a solar storm is hurtling toward the Earth after a powerful X-class solar flare shot out from the sun on New Year's Eve. Experts have warned of radio signal disruptions and bright auras. The storm should hit hard, should last less than a day. But the thing is that they're predicting that more and more of these things will inevitably happen. And if you guys have been noticing the pattern, everything, everything is a everything is unprecedented until it happens for the first time, right? So that first instance of any catastrophe is always unprecedented, right? But once the precedence has initiated, I'm seeing this pattern, and I'm pretty sure you guys are seeing a pattern too, where once these things start, it seems like they happen more and more often and more frequent and more regular. Let me know if you guys feel me on that one. So it goes on to say here that the solar flares are powerful ejections of electromagnetic radiation, usually in the form of X-rays, and caused by a sudden release of energy from the sun's surface. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You've all been to the dentist, right? You've all been to the doctor where they like if you go to the dentist, right, and they're like, hey, let's go ahead and do your X-rays. They put that little thing in your mouth and you're supposed to like bite down and like hold it in place and like don't move, right? And then your dentist, he or she leaves the room, and then they hit the little button, and of course they put the little camera next to your mouth and they take a picture of your teeth, and so that's an X-ray. Well, you ever notice that the person that's controlling that camera, they always leave the room? They're not in the room with you, and there's a reason why they put that very heavy pad, or it's like a blanket or whatever that they put on your body, because that is designed to block the X-rays and keep you safe. Because if you're exposed to too many X-rays, obviously that can generate cancer and all sorts of other negative things. Well, the concerning thing here is that they're saying that the solar flares are powerful ejections of electromagnetic radiation, usually in the form of X-rays, which is exactly what the dentists and the doctors are trying to protect us from. So if there's this blast, just think about how much X-rays will be, released. That cannot be a good thing. I'm just putting that out there, right? They're usually emitted from sunspots and occur when magnetic fields in these areas become entangled or reorganized. All right, but check this out here. Solar flares. I'm gonna highlight this so you guys can see this, right? I'm gonna show this to you in just 1 second. But I want to go ahead and read it to you first. So it says here that the solar flares are the largest explosive events in our solar system. And as Jesse Woodruff, a program scientist in the helophysics division at NASA headquarters, previously told Newsweek, they are around 1 million times stronger than a nuclear bomb. What? I can't make this up, guys. I cannot make this up. I want to show it to you. Check this out. So you can pause your screen if you want to see that, and you can read it for yourself. But I'm just proving, like, I'm not making this up. This came from NASA headquarters. They're around 1 million times stronger than a nuclear bomb. However, a nuclear explosion is highly localized in both time and space, while the energy of a solar flare is spread out across vast distances. So at least that sounds like a good thing to me. Again, I'm not an astrophysicist, in case you thought I was. Just to let you guys know, spoiler alert, I'm not an astrophysicist. So, I hate to disappoint you guys. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just reading this article, sharing this information with you, and speculating. Now, Just in case we lose everything, there are insurance companies that are out here to protect us. And State Farm is one of those insurance companies. Now, I don't know if you guys happen to have State Farm, but evidently there's some bad news for some State Farm insurance holders because the report has just come out saying that State Farm homeowners insurance rates are scheduled to skyrocket. Not a good thing. And I warned you guys yesterday. I told you, any old time your insurance policy is up for renewal, you can be damn sure that them rates are going up. Whether you filed a claim or not, those insurance rates are going up. I don't remember the last time I had an insurance renewal and they lowered my rate. That might have happened like when I was like 20 years old. But it hasn't happened anytime recently. Customers with homeowners insurance policy through State Farm will soon be paying higher premiums after California granted a rate hike. Unbelievable. Now, I wonder why California granted the rate hike. The only thing I could think of is that because California is so highly restrictive, maybe Governor Gavin Newsom of California said, hey, instead of losing more of these insurance companies pulling out of California, because a lot of these homeowners insurance companies, they were just completely pulling out of Florida altogether and leaving homeowners high and dry. California probably started seeing the pattern and said, hey, let's take the governor off, the proverbial governor off, and let these insurance companies charge higher premiums. That way we can at least keep them in the state. Because the last thing you want to do is be in a situation kind of like Florida, where Florida, I see a lot of you guys saying that you have left Florida. Cali Chica says, I left Florida for good in 2018. I don't blame you. Graham Stephan, he left. I don't know if you guys watch Graham Stephan's YouTube channel. Graham Stephan moved out of California like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I think he moved to Nevada. There were several other big YouTubers that have also moved out of the state of California. Patrick Big David, he's got a great channel. I think he has Valuetainment. He might have changed the name of the channel and maybe started a new one. But Patrick Big David, he moved out of California as well. And they're all going off on how expensive California is, which we all know. But one of the things that makes California so freaking unbelievably expensive from a cost of living perspective. And these are people who are making millions of dollars a year complaining about these expenses, right? So just imagine how much, people who don't necessarily make millions of dollars a year, who are just like average earning American citizens, making like $100,000 a year or less, how they're dealing with California's very, very high cost of living. Well, California has unbelievably high income taxes. They have very, very high state income taxes. Property taxes are very high. There's a tremendous homeless problem that people are dealing with over there. You've got natural disasters such as earthquakes, which are expected. So, you don't even have like if you're a homeowner, you have to have homeowners insurance if you have a mortgage on your home. But think about it. If you live in California, would you really feel safe not having earthquake insurance? Because apparently earthquake insurance is a separate policy that standard insurance will not generally cover. So in other words, if you live in California or if you're thinking about moving to California, which I don't really meet a whole lot of people telling me that they're moving to California. Most people are leaving in droves, going to places like Texas and Florida and these other states, right? And Nevada, Las Vegas. But California is kind of like a ticking time bomb, as Cali Chica said it, right? Or at least she put some bomb emojis in there. California just as New York. Yeah. So it's like, just imagine. You might want to just check with your insurance company and make sure that if an earthquake were to take place, is your home covered? Can you imagine? You got a $500,000 house, maybe a $1 or $2, $3 million house, and you think it's insured because it is. But if an earthquake happens, you better make sure that the policy will cover the house in the event that an earthquake does happen, because just Monday there was a 4.7 magnitude earthquake that did hit Cali. So I'm just saying. And earlier this week, 1.7 magnitude earthquake hit New York. Nothing huge or anything like that, but it did cause an explosion over there. So, I would be financially preparing myself just like I would prepare with, having batteries and flashlights and generators and extra food and water filtration systems. Having insurance is just as important. So I'm just putting that out there for you guys. And of course, if you want to get your free home warranty quote, there's a link in the description down below this video, which I've left for you guys. Takes about 10 seconds. But check this out, guys. State Farm. State Farm, one of the largest insurance companies in the United States here. In fact, State Farm insures 1 out of every 5 homes in California. That's literally 20%, right? Its policyholders will see an average increase of 20% beginning March 15th. So mark your calendars, guys. Mark your calendars for these big changes. And that's just California that they happen to be mentioning. I would definitely expect that other states would be affected by this as well. But at the same time, don't just sit there and get clobbered by these insurance companies raising your rates. Call around, guys. Don't be lazy. Spend an hour one day calling around, getting rates. And if it makes sense for you to move over to a cheaper company that can give you comparable coverages. It's that simple. Make these people work for you. Yeah. So, check this out. They're saying some may experience a very tiny rate increase of 1 or 2 or 5%, while those in probably the higher risk areas could get this, guys. They could receive a 50% increase, possibly even more. Can you imagine? Like, think about how much you're paying right now every single month or every 6 months or every year for your insurance policy. Now imagine you get a letter in the mail saying that your insurance policy is going up by 50%, because they are saying that there are some people in the higher risk areas that could literally be seeing a 50% increase in their insurance policies. This is how people are getting wiped out, and this is part of that wealth transfer that I've been talking about. They're wiping out people who are barely getting by, and that, so anyway, this is pretty serious. This is pretty serious. So I just wanted to share that information with you guys. Let me know what you guys think about some of the topics that we've covered today. If you enjoyed the video, definitely hit the like button for the video. Consider subscribing to the channel, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the flip side. You guys be safe out there.